Hello friends! Thank you for coming today and viewing this episode of the Tutu Artist Studio Smash the Stash Challenge. I am working on my project for the Smash the Stash Challenge, and today I have decided to pull out some fabrics, and I will show you here that my base fabric that I pulled out, I've already cut my pattern out, but I have found this beautiful linen. It's got a wonderful print on it. I think I bought about 1 yard of it. And I was going to turn it into a pillow many years ago, and I think it just sat in my storage containers for, probably about 3 or 4 years. And I also have some beautiful pressed crepe georgette here. I have just enough here that I could make the top of a chemise and maybe some arm puffs. A couple of different types of the gold trims that I managed to pull out of my box over there. And this little trim actually is quite unique. I found this at a trim store in New York City, but I got a really nice bag full of it, but unfortunately in my bag, they were only in 1 foot lengths. And so I got a fantastic discount on this because I told the shopkeeper I would love to buy it, even though they were only in 12-inch lengths. I have an assortment of little ribbon flowers here that I found at the dollar store many years ago. They've graced a couple of my projects throughout the years, but I think I have a perfect color palette here that I'd be able to use these flowers on this costume. And then to match my little flowers, I have this ribbon here that I managed to pull out of my supplies, the beautiful Copenhagen blue. And I believe I'm going to make a Giselle costume, and I'm going to be using the Tutus That Dance pattern number 2107, and I'm going to make the corset with the inset panel. So I will see you through the magic of video camera. I will see you in a minute, and I'll show you what I have created this afternoon. Hi friends, it's Casey again with the Tutu Artist Studio. I want to thank you for coming and watching our little Smash the Stash challenge. And I am working still on my Giselle peasant bodice right now. It is from Tutus That Dance pattern number 2107, and I'm really enjoying making this pattern. It's definitely something that's a first for me. I've normally made other types of peasant bodices, but I really enjoyed how this one is a little lower cut. That's going to go over the front of the dancers. So today, for my second part of my Smash the Stash challenge, I'll be working on just doing a little bit of detailing on this. I have to still add my piping to the corset. I have not joined the top to the bottom. It's still unsewn. It's on the mannequin right now, just so I could see what the two pieces look like together. But I actually believe that I'm going to be able to find something in here, which is a box of piping from past projects. Sometimes I use colors such as, the black, so I keep my black in here. I love using cream colored piping, so I still have my little tiny bit of yardage of fabric in here, but I also have, from a previous project, some piping already cut out. So I think to honor the Smash the Stash challenge, this is my stash, and I'm going to start taking from it. And I think for this particular bodice, I have a little piece of piping in the cream already made. I just want to see, but I think I'm going to use the cream color piping at the top of the bodice. And then if I have white in here, I'm going to obviously pipe in the white on the top of the chemise. So right now we're all just kind of what I call a dry fit. So we're just trying to see how this works, and let's get some piping attached. This is just a little tiny ball left over from a tutu order. I purchased a kit online at tutus.com. So this is what I have left over. So we're smashing our stash using what we've got left. And I know I have more than enough here to pipe this top edge. And now we have the top edge has been nicely piped. I like that delicate contrast. It's not stark white, and I think it helps with the little flowers that I have added here as the little decoration. It helps bring the flowers into the design a little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to sew the top of the chemise piping, and I'm going to do that in white. Okay, so for my top piping, I have a literal scrap of fabric here. This is all I've got. I've only got enough to cut maybe 3 strips on the diagonal, but because this is such a small bodice, I think I might be able to get what I need with only cutting 3 strips. Hi, Chino. Everybody meet my shop dog, Chino. Okay, I have given the dogs their cookies. I have 2 dogs. They've had their cookies, and we shall set another timer. I think in another 20 minutes they'll be looking for something else from Mom, which usually is walk time. But I'm at least good for 20 minutes without interruptions. Okay, so we're going to take the top chemise off the mannequin, and I'm going to apply the piping to the top of the bodice. So now we are about to move on to attaching the lower part of the corset to the upper part of the chemise. Now, you can take the chemise, you can turn it over upside down, and you can stitch your 1/2 inch seam right here, but I'm not going to do this because I have already put piping as a way to finish off this and to add a bit of decoration between the 2 pieces here. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to take the lower part. I have stitched my 1/2 inch seam allowance line right here, and I'm going to use this as a guide because I'm simply going to take the lower part, slide it up, and make sure that I stitch along the seam at the 1/2 inch mark. So what I've done is I have already marked in with a pin all the areas where my seams are on the inside of the bodice, or the chemise actually. That way, when I am joining this lower corset to the upper chemise, I make sure that the most important parts are where the seams are, that they're connecting at the proper spots. I don't want to have side seams that don't match. So I have made sure that my side seam here on the corset is also going to match up with where I have marked where it is on the chemise. So I am going to take this to the machine and I'm going to attach this. Okay, so we have the lower bodice attached to the upper chemise. And the nice thing about this method that we have all of our seams now facing down. There's not going to be a huge bulky seam in the underbust area, which for dancers can be quite uncomfortable. So the next thing I'm going to work on is I need to match up with this beautiful blue. It's a Copenhagen blue. I need to match up with it a piping that I'm going to use on the bottom of this bodice. I don't want to use white. I don't want to use the cream. I think I want to see if I possibly have enough scrap left over from this piece of fabric. Maybe I'll have to piece together some pieces, you know, but I want to be able to blend the fabric with its own self-piping. So we're going to make sure that we have enough. And we do. We have more than enough. Now, the reason I have done this is because I want the bodice to have as clean of a line as possible. Ballet is all about creating long lines, and if I decided to take the cream color piping and bring it down to the bottom of the bodice, I think it would break up the line of the dancer, and that's not what we're going for. We want to make the dancer look like they're a longer line. So I'm just going to press this. My pressing station is actually very close to me. There was a time when I'd actually have to stand up, walk over to the other side of the room just to press something as simple as a length of fabric for piping, but I've actually now got it that the pressing station is within reach of me just swiveling my chair around, and it doesn't matter if I'm on my little home machine right here or if I'm behind me that you can't see on the camera. My industrial machine is exactly right behind me. The nice thing is all I have to do is just swivel my chair around and I am at each of these 3 stations. Makes everything easy and accessible for me. My industrial machine threads from the left side of the needle to the right, and I do not have an automatic needle threader, and this is where I hate it. I can never see the eye of the needle. I remember one time I had to go to tutu school and I sat there for 15 minutes trying to get the thread through the eye of the needle. Everybody was laughing at me, and I I get it, you know, you should be able to thread your own machine. And I think that was when I was first starting to realize that my eyesight was starting to go on me. And then it took me at least another 2 years to come to terms with the fact that maybe it's time to start wearing glasses. I was in denial. All right. Back stitch. I'm in the market for another industrial machine. Don't tell my husband. Okay, so this is where we are at now. Today we have attached the piping to all of the edging here. I made the piping in a contrast beige, kind of a creamy beige here. I attached the lower bodice to the upper chemise. We piped all the edges. I had to grab some spare fabrics that were just small cuts, and I joined them all together to make self-piped edge in the same fabric as what the corset was made out of. I love the look of this. I am happy I chose not to use the cream on the bottom, and I just love how this really creates a nice, smooth, cohesive line between the corset and the bottom edge. It's got a really nice point here, and we trimmed back some of these embellishments when we were working on the inside of this, and I always have liked the way how it looks like when the embellishments are running into the bottom of the seam. So I think I'm going to end my video with this. Tomorrow we will continue on with adding the hooks and bars to the end, the back pieces, and we're going to fit it on the mannequin to figure out where the line is going to be for the hook and bars. I am happy that you were able to join with me today, and thank you for watching. Please, if you are participating in the Smash the Stash challenge, I'm going to turn my camera around here. So I've been really happy that you've joined us today, and I'm very happy of where we're at, how far we got on with this particular corset. I love the colors. I'm really happy of using a print. I'm embracing prints this year. I think it's a lovely addition to something that you don't really see in dance competitions, at least. I think this brings a little bit of uniqueness to my line that I am developing right now. And tomorrow I will continue with filming more footage on doing the hooks and bars in the back panel of the bodice. And so we're going to be fitting it on the mannequin, marking the line. And I think I've got some other videos previously that I've made for installing hooks and bars, but we will do it again while I'm constructing this. And then I'm going to choose the fabrics for the skirt. The skirt will have a basque, but it was not going to be the same type of basque as the lower part of the bodice here, because it's not a classical tutu. The basque is actually going to be hiding underneath the bodice. So I'll just be using a regular piece of white coutil, or if I don't even have enough coutil on hand, hopefully I do. I think I do. I've got a little scrap, but then I can also pull from some supplies of maybe using some really heavy twill. So join me tomorrow, and we'll have a little bit more video for you to follow along. Thank you so much for participating in the Smash the Stash challenge. And if you are making a project, you can send us your photos, and make sure you add the hashtags Smash the Stash and hashtag Tutu Artist Studio. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.